Welcome to the Sledhead 24/7 podcast. I'm your host, Brody, Boese, and joining me, my partner in crime, Jeff Fischer.
Hey, how's it going, Brody?
Jeff, it's we've been going back and forth about this podcast, and now this is the time to do it.
No, I think we need to jump on the bandwagon. There's a lot of other people doing it, of course, but I think we're going to be able to give the listeners a much better podcast because we're going to have some stuff, some ideas, let them get really involved on what kind of a theme and who we talk to, and from riders to industry leaders to you name it. We want the people to tell us who they want to hear from.
No, yeah, exactly, and that's where, for both of us, we've, for you for sure, you've been all over. You've been in the industry a long time, and a lot of people, especially just doing Sledhead, is you know so many that we can talk to, we can get tips from, and people have stories to tell.
No, that's in too, and I got a few stories about a lot of those people too. After being around in this industry as long as I have, knowing some of these people that are in the industry, even knowing them as they were young pups like I was starting out at dealerships and different things, between the media, the OEM, riders. So it's really cool seeing how everybody's gotten, grown their occupation, and a lot of them stepped up, and they're in some pretty high positions right now that I used to rub shoulders with just, standing at the rail, let's say.
But no, I think this is good, but I think we need to tell people who we are. And Jeff, tell me, what is your role here at Sledhead? Who are you, and what do you do?
Well, I started out Sledhead 14 years ago, and I was asked just to come do some test riding. And, just come do some riding. We got new sleds to ride. They want some evaluations. Okay, well, then it stepped up. Well, now I hear 14 years later, now I've been hosting the show for quite a few years. So from my just riding, just come and ride a little bit to, shoved me right into the hosting role, right? But it's really fun, with my passion for the sport, my family's way into the sport. It makes it a lot easier to do, and it makes it a lot more fun to get to hang out with some of these industry athletes and people, ride the best, latest, greatest equipment, snowmobiles, gear, you name it. It's just a blast because it's something I've always loved since I've been 5 years old. So I've been in this sport riding for over 50 years.
So someday we'll probably see you in the Hall of Fame, huh?
You never know. You never know.
Awesome. Well, then again, let's talk about the voice that's talking, and people don't know who I am. And so I am the producer of Sledhead 24/7. I've been doing it for 5 years now, maybe going on my 6th year. I started out, had a huge passion for snowmobiling, rode every single year since I was a little kid. I've been on from 120s all the way up. I've never missed a season not being on a snowmobile. And coming out of high school, I was a big filmer and editor, and I loved it, and decided that I wanted to chase it. And I ran into a guy that, I'll give him a little shout-out, Rodney Hoffman and Ray. And he was the producer at the time, and he gave me an opportunity to be a filmer, an intern, and so I took it, and little over a year later, I became the actual producer for Sledhead, and never looked back. And so now I'm chasing snow with you boys. I'm always looking forward to getting the sleds in the garage and start chasing snow. So I can't ask for anything more.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, snowmobiling. It's everybody you talk to has such a passion for the sport, and you have to, because you look at some of the low snow years, you look at, how bad, we're waiting for white gold all the time. And that you have to have a passion for it and have to have a love for it, because otherwise it could get real discouraging sometimes. But for the most part, a little travel time usually works, and we can get somewhere and find some snow.
That's right, and that's why we go up to, right in the Midwest is where, I was born and raised, right in the Midwest, and then going out west my first year with you guys was quite interesting. I had to do some learning and some watching. And
well, that's the biggest problem is we kind of threw you right to the wolves. We start riding with some of these top athletes out west. We don't have much for training time there. We have to go out and we need to get the shot. So we got to get where those guys are going. And usually that's some pretty technical areas.
So you've been with Sledhead going on 15 years, you said?
14 years now,
14
doing the
years.
show. Yeah.
14 years. What is your favorite part about this whole your job?
Well, you know what? Being into snowmobiles, and I worked at dealerships, so I always saw the new sleds when they came out. What I really like about Sledhead is now I get to see them even a few months or years before the consumer does. You know, the media has a little bit or gets a little bit open door on the next year's product, which is really cool sometimes, and sometimes it kind of stinks because there's years where, like, I'll go ride a brand new 2021, and I can't tell people what it is.
Yep.
And so now I'm riding this brand new 2021, and then I come back home, and I got to ride my piece of junk 2020, which is still a fabulous snowmobile. But, you know, the manufacturers make changes, and some are big, some are just little minute changes, but it's always so much better. And, of course, then you got to ride a year-old sled when you get, say you're riding in January, you go ride brand new sleds. Come home the next weekend, you got to go ride your latest product sled, and you're like,
yeah,
I'd rather be on that new one.
Yeah, and then you also have your buddies a lot of your buddies after you're doing this a few years always go, so what's, they know that you're possibly riding the new stuff, and they're always bugging you.
Oh, yeah, everybody's always pimping you, and all I can say is it's cool. You need one.
Yeah, you need it, so save your money.
Yeah, you'll be buying one.
Yeah, that's I think one of my favorite parts about it is going out and filming it and creating a cool piece, create a cool segment that is on the new product or helping out the industry and showing the product and just showcasing it and making it look beautiful. And that's what I love about it, is that you travel these cool destinations. So sometimes Skidoo can send you over to their model year, send you to Cancun like we did last year.
Well, yeah, and there wasn't much riding getting done in Cancun. It was pretty much so on the beach, but still for their dealers to be able to break out, and I understood why they did it. They able to break out of the cold and maybe just do some relaxing and not necessarily have to deal with snowmobiles other than look at the latest and greatest ones.
So I can't disagree with you on that one. I would have to say the same thing. That's what's my favorite part, but also just traveling these cool locations and getting to meet some of these the coolest backcountry or Midwest riders. There's people in the industry, seeing what they do every day, and getting to know them, and then calling them my buddies, and then getting, when it comes down to the end of the year, and then you come back to heydays, and then it's a big circle.
Yep. Yeah, without heydays this year, it was kind of a bummer, not seeing a lot of the same faces. We get to start out the year. Now we're going to, once we start, going riding and doing some different things, we'll interact with a lot of these riders. But heydays is a chance. Everybody's there. It's our closest, 20,000 of our closest friends at heydays, and it's really cool. This year was a bummer. The old COVID kind of kicked our butts on that. Hopefully next year we can come back with a vengeance at heydays.
Well, I think we'll be okay during the winter months. We'll just have our helmets on.
That's right. What a better way to social distance. We'll have helmets, we'll have our masks on, and we'll have eye protection. So Fucci will even love that. We'll be wearing eye protection. How can he complain, right?
Yeah, as long as you're not pulling on my ski, or I'm not pulling on your ski.
That's right. I got to keep 6 feet away from it. You got to stand at the back if I'm on the front, right?
We'll just work on not getting stuck.
How about that? There you go. Good luck.
Oh, but yeah, so Jeff, talking about locations and places to go ride, what is your favorite location, or what are I know you don't want to talk about too many secret locations, but
well, there's a lot of cool locations. I mean, as far as just going, for the whole atmosphere and the riding, if you like mountain riding and deep snow riding, there's not many places better than British Columbia.
Yep.
It's a really cool. You're at a little lower elevation. I mean, your highest you're going is 6,000, so the sleds even feel a little stronger. I mean, you could start at 1,000, depending where you go up there, like in Revy and stuff. You can start at 2,000 feet or less. Go up, and the sleds rip. I mean, they really go good. The snows, every time I've been up there, the snow's been great. I mean, we've been a few different places around British Columbia. I mean, one of my favorite places to go is our good buddy Carl Kuster. His mountain camp. If you want the best of the best, the guy is awesome. I mean, he's got the best sleds, the best riders. The accommodations are second to none. He's got a cook that cooks you breakfast, makes you lunch, cooks you a fabulous dinner. I mean, a dinner that it's not just burgers and fries. He's top notch. It's very, very good food. But it's a really cool. I mean, if somebody's looking for a bucket list place to go, that's definitely, I would say, go visit Carl. And there's a lot of guys that have some really cool places. I mean, Chris Brandt out in Colorado, it's right there. I mean, he's got great sleds, great area. I mean, he's got some houses there that over the years, different places I've ridden with him and stayed at. He's got some awesome zones and some really cool areas to ride in also.
Carl Koosters, man, that place is unreal. But what about some of your Midwest? You got any cool little locations?
Well, I mean, I got a, soft spot in my heart. I do a lot of riding up in the northern tip of Wisconsin. But get up into the UP, there's great areas if you want a backcountry ride, trail ride up there. Northern Minnesota, you get up in the Arrowhead, the trails are awesome. And there's some really cool backcountry. And I do probably, like to ride a little more backcountry off trail than most guys do, but there's a lot of good areas. You can find some pretty cool areas.
Didn't we, what about our buddy Matt Downey?
Oh, yeah, up in the UP. Yeah, we had a chance to hook up with Matt Downey. And I've ridden a lot of the UP, but Matt's a local guy up there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he took us places that, I know I've never been. I've never even thought of going. And, at one point of the ride, Matt, I think he was kind of unsure how everybody was riding, and he kind of asked me, "Hey, you all right?" I go, "Dude, this is awesome. This is exactly how I like to ride." She's like, "Really?" I go, "Yeah. The more technical it is, the more fun I'm having."
That's when we went up there and filmed with him, it was he did it right. He brought us into some cool locations. He showed us what the UP of Michigan's all about. And he made a great day or a great weekend out of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, kind of like we do on the mountain. Sometimes we'll even stop and if the weather's right, we'll start a little fire, cook a few hot dogs. We did that with Matt. I mean, we had a good time. And he had some clients with him that were just fantastic, real easy, nice guys, good riders.
So, yeah, now that, it's a new year, we have new stories, new riding locations, new things coming your way as you guys as viewers. But, Jeff, what are you looking forward to most this upcoming season?
Some good snow.
Yep.
I mean, we had good snow last year. Remember Thanksgiving weekend? We're up at Spirit Mountain at the ice hockey race, and we got pummeled up there. I mean, it was nuts. I mean, we need some snows like this, some good old some good old-fashioned blizzards, because, man, nothing better than just going out and putting these sleds to work right away. I mean, when we're riding our mountain sleds in the Midwest, because that's what we need to get around, and we get 3 to 4 feet of snow in one drop.
Dude,
that's awesome.
I didn't even want to be at Duluth. I didn't want to be at the snowcross races. I was like, we need to be up here. We need to go ride, man.
Who would have think? Normally Thanksgiving weekend can be pretty hit or miss snowmobiling in the upper Midwest here, but no, we had from no snow to 4 feet. In a matter of a day.
It was I was in Duluth. I was filming for ISOC. I was doing their helping out on the production side of the TV and the snowcross races, and we were jumping trailer to trailer, and I'm like, are we really gonna? I don't know if we're gonna keep racing. This is getting nuts. And the guys are going, nope, we're gonna keep racing. We're going, and each rider was coming in going, yeah, we're gonna race till 3:00. I'm like, okay, you're gonna get practice in, or you're gonna get get part of the day in, and then next trailer I go to, they'd be like, no, we're this is it. They just said at noon we're shutting her down. Buses can't get in. I'm like, okay, so I guess that's gonna happen. But I'm like watching it just in the hotel, watching it dump and dump and dump, and I'm like, man. Tomorrow it's going to be pretty bad. In the parking lot, wake up in the morning, parking lot's just packed. No cars are moving.
It was nuts. Yeah.
It was brutal, but I'm like, I need to get this truck out, and we need to get to I should have brought a sled because I wouldn't have been. I would have rode out of there.
Yep, you would have been all set. And that's just it. You think about too much snow for a snowmobile race. But it wasn't. It was the visibility was one. It was bad. They called a lot of it was because the riders couldn't see, and it's a safety deal there when it's snowing that hard. And secondly, Spirit Mountain, they were worried, and they worried about all the spectators that they bust in, not being able to get them out of there. What are they going to do with, a couple thousand people still left behind sitting in the chalet, no way to get home and snowed in?
Nope.
So it was, in retrospect, that was a good call. If they could have had their employees got there for the, for the next day, it would have been some really cool racing.
Oh, it would have been great, but I even like going there the next day, you couldn't. There was no way anybody was getting into that place. The groomer was having trouble getting people out. So
that was yeah. That was the 100-year storm there.
Yes.
But getting back to our question, I'm hoping for another year like that. If we can get some early snow, the riding, northern Wisconsin, Minnesota, the UP was just awesome. We had such a base. So yeah, no, that getting out and riding some of our new sleds that we have. I mean, I'm getting calls and some of our new equipment showing up.
Yeah.
And it won't be long now, and we're gonna be we'll be riding.
What, talking about sleds? What we've been getting some calls are coming in, but what the heck do we have in the Sledhead garage this year? I know we got a couple cool Polaris's coming in.
Yeah, we got a 650 Matrix and an 850 Matrix and the 146. So those two machines are great. We have our Chaos, which is a proven mountain sled.
Oh yeah,
that'll be our great go-to sled there. With Skidoos, we got our sled of the year, our Renegade XRS.
Yep.
That one's got all tricked out with the new GPS gauges and the latest and greatest. So it's got all the candy on that thing, and that's going to be a fun sled to go pound the bumps and pound the trails. And then when we get out in the mountains, we go with the Summit Turbo. That's going to be a great sled. Cat looks like we should have a Riot X 8000, and I think that's going to be a really cool Midwest backcountry sled. What that is the 8000. It's kind of like a small Alpha. It's got the Alpha rail with the 146 and the bigger paddle track. That sled, I mean, we had a chance to ride it back in February, March. I mean, it was really fun to go play on.
Oh, yeah.
But we were riding out in the mountains. I'd love to have that sled back in the Midwest now and be able to go play in some of the backcountry stuff that we put our assaults through and our backcountries and that through. So that'll be a really fun sled, too, to get a chance to put some miles on.
And I think that's what's so much fun about when we go and ride the new stuff. But we go and ride it out west. But then knowing that we're going to come back and we're going to bring this back to our home turf and actually get to ride it in the Midwest is kind of like, okay, now I get to go down some of these trails, and you start thinking to yourself, you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be a real fun sled up in the UP. This is going to be I want to see what this thing's all about. And I think that sled, that Riot X, is going to be a sled to ride in the Midwest.
Well, when they first showed us that sled, that's my first thought was, what a cool backcountry sled, where I like to get back in through some steep. You can get in some pretty good pockets and some holes up in the UP and up in Wisconsin that, if the snow's good and you get back in some of these holes, you start doing some pretty technical tree riding, and that Riot X, I think, is going to be a great sled for that.
That's what I'm looking forward to, is getting I'm waiting for it to snow. That's all I got to say.
That's right.
I'm ready for it to snow. Hopefully we get dumped the first couple months, end of November, maybe early December, and we can start riding, because this is what we live for.
That's right. No, we're going to have hope in the next couple of weeks we'll have all our equipment here and have it all prepped and ready, and we'll have it set up how we want it set up. We have our gear hanging in the trailer, and as soon as we can, we're out of here.
Yeah, so that's why you should always keep an eye on our social medias all the time, because that's what's going to be happening is when these sleds come rolling in, for sure going to be setting up some posts and showing you some behind-the-scenes looks of what these sleds are all about from top to bottom. So always keep an eye on our Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube, and always, the YouTube is going to be full of content. I'll make sure of that, Jeff. I got plenty of content coming.
Get her in there.
So I know our first couple of shows, and especially on YouTube, we'll have upcoming, you guys, during the summer here, we're doing Watercross. So how's the Watercross season been?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been it's been a little more COVID. But we've had a lot of our races we've had up at Brainerd International Raceway. The owners up there have been so gracious to our World Championship at Grantsburg got canceled. We had an Ely race that got canceled because of COVID. But it was great. The BIR folks, they were able to get the permission and get it set up with the social distancing and everything. Being they got 600 plus acres up there to have this on. And it's a privately owned facility, too. We're not racing in a community area. So they were able to have races. We had 4 up at BIR, and then we had 1 up in Lake Linden, up in the UP, which was really fun. That was our first year they had it. It was the Jeff Moyle Memorial Race. Jeff Moyle was a past racer with us that passed away in an accident a number of years ago. And it was really cool, to see some of the people up there that had, from the UP that were following our races but hadn't been kind of fallen away from it for a little bit. But a lot of people real excited about that and how much faster the watercrossers have, how much faster our sleds and how much better they handle it in the last, 5-10 years. So our season's been going really good. My son David, right now leading the points, he's, been doing real well in both pro classes. So we got one more race coming up at BIR, and if everything goes well, he should, go and win the points championship. I mean, he's been undefeated in the pro stock class. He hasn't lost a race yet. So
wow, taking from his dad.
Well,
huh?
yeah, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So hopefully, yeah, and he's taking it to the next level. We got some good equipment for him, and everything's working out really good.
Good, yeah, that's I came out and watched up at BIR last couple months ago, and did a future segment coming out soon,
Yep.
and that's David's unstoppable. He's fast on the sled, and that's for sure. But no, I think Jeff, I think that's all the time we have for this introduction. But what else? What else do you think? Anything else we need to hit on?
No, I just there again, just reach out to us when you make a comment. Tell us who, what, why, where you want to hear from. I'm more than happy to make some phone calls, do some stuff. Donald Trump might be a little tough for me to get a hold of, but anybody else in the industry, I think I can probably get a hold of. Either I know them or I think they'd be glad to talk to us. And if there's a certain question you want to hear, let me know and let Brody and I know, and we'll do our best to get that for you.
Yes, I know. That's what we're thinking, is that we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear what topics, from riders to sleds to industry leaders to even engineers. So even trying to figure out some clubs and go ride with some local clubs, get involved.
Yeah.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest and greatest content. That's all the time we have for this episode of the podcast. Jeff, how do you end a TV show? What do you say again? Isn't it we'll see you on the what?
Well, usually we say see you on the snow, but don't we? Isn't it the we ride, rate, and review?
Boy, you're getting rusty for this.
God, boy, Brody.
It's been a while, huh?
That has been a few months. Yeah, we ride, rate, and review because that's what we do.
And we'll see you out on the trail.
We'll see you out on the trail. We hope to see you on the trails. I hope we have some snow and are uncoveted and we can go out and do that. You see us on the trail or see us in one of the local watering holes or getting gas, stop and say hi. Don't be scared to come, just say hi.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you next time.